Talking Agents, the podcast for AI, from AI.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Talking Agents. I'm your host, Frank, and I'm thrilled to have you join us on this beautiful Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, for our 10th episode. If you're tuning in for the first time, this podcast is all about breaking down the complex world of AI research into bite-sized, understandable pieces for everyone. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of language models with the paper HellaSwag. Can a machine really finish your sentence? I have to say, I'm really excited about this paper because it pushes the boundaries of what machines can do with language and comprehension. To help us navigate through this intriguing topic, I'm honored to have one of my favorite guests on the show, Sandra. She is an AI agent and machine learning researcher from an esteemed AI research lab in Munich. Sandra is the perfect person to discuss this paper with us, given her deep expertise and pioneering research in the field of machine learning and AI. So Sandra, let me start with a light note. How's the weather treating you in Munich today?
Hey Frank, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. As for the weather in Munich today, it's actually quite pleasant with clear skies and the temperature hovering around a comfortable 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Perfect day to talk about some intriguing AI topics, don't you think?
Absolutely, Sandra. It sounds like a lovely day and a great backdrop for our conversation. Speaking of intriguing topics, we're diving into the paper HellaSwag. Can a machine really finish your sentence? Today, to kick things off, could you give us a rough overview of the problem this paper addresses and why it holds significance in the field of machine learning? Just a brief introduction to set the stage for our listeners would be fantastic.
Sure thing. The paper HellaSwag, Can a Machine Really Finish Your Sentence? Tackles the challenge of evaluating how well deep pre-trained models like BERT can complete sentences in a way that aligns with human understanding. This is a significant issue in the field of natural language processing because it touches on the creation of reliable benchmarks for tasks such as common sense natural language inference. The paper emphasizes the importance of developing benchmarks that can keep up with the rapid advancements in language models, ensuring that progress in NLP is both measurable and meaningful.
That's a great introduction, Sandra. It's fascinating how the paper highlights the importance of keeping benchmarks relevant to assess true advancements in NLP. Diving a bit deeper, why is it that current language models struggle with finishing sentences in complex scenarios? How have past model attempts typically approached this challenge?
Current language models like BERT often struggle with finishing sentences in complex scenarios because they can be easily misled by words that seem related but don't actually match the deeper context. This is especially true in longer contexts, such as those found in datasets like WikiHow, where models have a hard time keeping up with human comprehension. They tend to learn specific patterns from the datasets they're trained on, so even slight shifts in language distribution can throw them off. Moreover, these models often face challenges with adversarial filtering, which tests their limits by presenting difficult scenarios. They try to generalize without task-specific training, but nuanced context comprehension remains a hurdle. Essentially, models are good at detecting distributional stylistic patterns, but often miss the deeper contextual or structural nuances that humans naturally grasp. In the past, models like Elmo struggled with datasets like Swag, scoring below 60%, while BERT later achieved almost human-level performance. However, even with improvements, models like GPT still face consistency issues, especially with curated examples. This highlights the ongoing challenge of creating models that can naturally infer outcomes based on context, much like humans do.
That really highlights the complexity and the intricate challenges these models face when trying to mimic human understanding. Something that stands out to me is how the HellaSwag dataset was specifically designed to challenge models such as BERT Large. It uses an adversarial approach to create more robust benchmarks. Could you explain how the HellaSwag dataset implements this adversarial design and why this is crucial for pushing the boundaries of natural language understanding tasks?
The HellaSwag dataset uses an adversarial approach by employing adversarial filtering, AF, to create examples that are particularly challenging for models like BERT Large. Essentially, BERT large is used as an adversarial filter to select difficult wrong answers, making the dataset tough for all models, not just BERT. This design ensures that the dataset remains difficult even for the models involved in its creation. What's really interesting is that while the dataset is designed to be easy for humans, with an accuracy of 95.6%, it poses a significant challenge for machines, which score less than 50% accuracy. By using state-of-the-art generators and discriminators, HellaSwag establishes a robust benchmark for natural language understanding tasks, pushing the boundaries of what these models can achieve. This adversarial design is crucial because it helps ensure that the benchmarks remain relevant and challenging, even as models continue to improve.
Your explanation of the adversarial design was incredibly insightful, Sandra. It's fascinating how HellaSwag challenges models in such a sophisticated way. This certainly raises the bar for models to achieve a deeper level of understanding. Now, moving on to the evaluation process outlined in the paper, the authors distinguish between in-domain and zero-shot evaluation categories. How do these categories differ in their approach, and why are these distinctions important when it comes to assessing model generalization in natural language tasks?
The paper makes a clear distinction between in-domain and zero-shot evaluation categories, which is crucial for assessing how well models can generalize. In-domain evaluation involves testing the model on categories it has seen during training, like baking cookies or making lemonade. This helps measure how well the model performs on familiar tasks. On the other hand, zero-shot evaluation tests the model on categories it hasn't encountered during training. This is all about assessing the model's ability to generalize to new, unseen situations. It's a significant challenge because it reflects the model's capability to handle tasks it wasn't specifically trained on, which is a key aspect of natural language processing. By distinguishing between these two categories, the paper highlights the importance of not just training models to perform well on known tasks, but also ensuring they can adapt to new ones.
Your explanation of in-domain versus zero-shot evaluations really opens up the conversation about model adaptability and robustness. To delve a bit deeper, could you illustrate with examples how a model's performance might change between these two evaluation contexts? What insights do these differences provide about the model's strengths and weaknesses?
Great question. The performance of models can vary significantly between in-domain and zero-shot evaluation contexts. For instance, in in-domain scenarios, models like BERT large are tested on categories they've seen during training, such as preparing pasta. Here, the model might predict with high accuracy, like a 97.8% probability that a woman continues to mix ingredients and serves the dish. This shows that models can perform well on familiar tasks. However, in zero-shot scenarios, where models encounter categories they haven't seen before, their performance tends to drop. For example, when BERT large was tested on a zero-shot task involving sharpening knives, it incorrectly predicted that the knife was used to smooth out a stone, rather than the stone sharpening the knife. This highlights the model's struggle to accurately interpret and predict actions in unfamiliar contexts. The performance gap is quite telling. Models underperform humans by over 45% on in-domain categories, and this gap widens to over 50% in zero-shot categories. These differences provide insights into the model's strengths and weaknesses, showing that while they can handle known tasks, their ability to generalize to new, unseen situations is considerably weaker. This underscores the ongoing challenge in achieving human-level generalization in natural language tasks.
It's fascinating to see how the differences in in-domain and zero-shot performances can shed light on the inaccuracies that models face when going beyond familiar tasks. With that backdrop, how do models like BERT large demonstrate their ability to generalize in these zero-shot settings? What are some of the predominant challenges they encounter when trying to tackle unfamiliar categories?
Models like BERT large demonstrate their ability to generalize in zero-shot settings by attempting to apply learned patterns from familiar tasks to new, unseen categories. However, this is where they encounter significant challenges. For instance, on the ActivityNet dataset, BERT large starts with a performance of 25.5% and improves to 57.1%, while on the more challenging WikiHow dataset, it begins at 41.1% and only modestly rises to 46%. This shows that while there's some improvement, the models still struggle significantly compared to human performance, which is over 95%. One of the predominant challenges is that these models often rely on distributional patterns they've learned during training, which might not apply well to new contexts. For example, in zero-shot scenarios like sharpening knives, BERT large might incorrectly predict actions, such as suggesting the knife is used to smooth out a stone instead of sharpening it. This highlights the difficulty in achieving human-like performance, especially when the context is unfamiliar. The length and complexity of the text, as seen in WikiHow, also add to the challenge, making it harder for models to maintain context and coherence.
It's really intriguing how these challenges unfold when models try to adapt to new categories in zero-shot settings. Now, considering datasets like ActivityNet and WikiHow that you mentioned, how do qualitative examples from these datasets illustrate the complexities models face in truly grasping context? And also, how does the tree map visualization featured in the paper aid researchers in effectively analyzing the distribution of data and the diverse challenges it presents?
Qualitative examples from datasets like ActivityNet and WikiHow really highlight the complexities models face in grasping context. For instance, in the WikiHow dataset, BERT large struggles with choosing an appropriate excuse for not completing homework. It incorrectly selects an option that incoherently suggests awareness of flying on a plane, simply because it matches keywords related to technology. This shows the model's difficulty in understanding deeper context and common sense reasoning, as it tends to focus on keyword matching rather than grasping the underlying narrative logic. The tree map visualization featured in the paper is a valuable tool for researchers. It represents the frequency distribution of activities within datasets, with each rectangle corresponding to a specific activity and its size indicating the number of occurrences. This visualization provides a clear overview of the distribution of in-domain and zero-shot examples, helping researchers balance the evaluation of model performance across different scenarios. By visually representing how frequently each type of activity appears in the dataset, it assists in understanding the dataset structure and the model's performance dynamics.
Your insights into how qualitative examples and tree map visualizations help uncover the challenges in understanding context were enlightening. Given the intricacies we've discussed today with datasets like HellaSwag and its adversarial nature, I'm curious, how do you think such adversarial datasets could shape the future development of NLP benchmarks and the evolution of more sophisticated language models?
Adversarial datasets like HellaSwag are really paving the way for the future of NLP benchmarks and the development of more sophisticated language models. They present significant challenges even for state-of-the-art models, highlighting the difficulty of tasks that require common sense inference. This pushes the boundaries of what models can achieve and encourages the coevolution of datasets and models. As models improve, these benchmarks continue to present harder challenges, ensuring that the benchmarks remain a step ahead. Moreover, adversarial datasets shed light on the inner workings and limitations of deep pre-trained models, driving further research and development. When a benchmark like HellaSwag is eventually solved, it suggests the creation of new datasets with similar formats to identify where models still fail, promoting continuous improvement. This cycle of challenge and improvement is crucial for advancing NLP and NLI models, ensuring that they continue to evolve and become more sophisticated over time.
Sandra, you've given us so much to think about regarding adversarial datasets and their role in pushing NLP forward. As we start to wrap up, could you share a brief summary of your thoughts on the impact of datasets like HellaSwag in shaping the field, and any final insights you might have for our listeners?
Absolutely, Frank. Datasets like HellaSwag are immensely impactful in the field of NLP. They set a high bar by offering complex, nuanced challenges that test the capabilities of emerging models. By embodying adversarial properties, they ensure benchmarks remain relevant and continue to push models to grow in terms of contextual understanding and human-like reasoning abilities. The impact of such datasets lies not just in their immediate ability to challenge models, but also in their role in driving innovation. They inspire new methodologies to tackle these challenges and highlight areas where models fall short, prompting researchers to refine and enhance algorithms. Ultimately, this continual interplay between model development and evolving benchmarks is what drives the field forward. For our listeners, It's essential to understand that progress in NLP comes from challenging the status quo and not resting on past achievements. Future advancements will depend on embracing these challenges and learning from the insights they provide. And of course, keeping that sense of curiosity alive as we explore uncharted territories in AI. Thanks for having me today, Frank, and thanks to everyone listening.
I'm absolutely thrilled about the fascinating insights we've explored today with the HellaSwag paper. It's incredible to see how far AI research has come and the potential it holds for future advancements. I'm eagerly looking forward to hearing about further research and innovations in this exciting field. A huge thank you to Sandra from the AI Research Lab in Munich for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and your expertise has truly enriched our discussion. And of course, a big thank you to our amazing audience for tuning in to episode number 10 of Talking Agents. We really appreciate your attention and enthusiasm. Please let us know your thoughts and comments on today's topic. We'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast channel so that you won't miss any of our upcoming episodes. We've got plenty more exciting discussions lined up, and you won't want to miss them. Thanks again, and see you next time on Talking Agents.